The Lost Puff. One day, the Fat Controller told the engines about some damaged track at Knapford Bend. All the engines listened carefully, except Thomas and Paxton, who were laughing at the duck. "May I remind you two in particular not to be silly," the Fat Controller told them. "I don't want any accidents." Later, Paxton arrived at the broken track. As he rolled over it, it rattled his radiator, making him laugh. "That was fun!" he grinned. And when Thomas appeared, Paxton got him to try it too. "Woohoo!" Thomas giggled as he bounced along. "Get a good run-up and go really fast over it," Paxton suggested. So Thomas raced backwards, around the corner and bashed into Toby, who was filling up at the water tower. Water splashed all over Thomas, which put out his firebox. "Oh no! The Fat Controller told me not to be silly, but I was, and now there's been an accident," Paxton said. He rolled quietly away to deliver his trucks to the shunting yard. When Toby arrived, Paxton heard him tell Stafford that Thomas had lost his puff. That sounded serious. Paxton decided to find Thomas's lost puff. He raced along, looking all around, but he didn't really know what to look for. Then he saw a puff of steam and raced after it. But it was just Gordon pulling the express. Next, Paxton spotted a fluffy cloud in the sky. "That must be Thomas's missing puff," he said as he hurried towards it. Paxton followed the cloud all the way to Ulfstead Castle, where he met Stephen. "Hello, Paxton," said Stephen. "What are you doing here?" "Thomas lost his puff, and I thought that might be it," Paxton told him. "Up there? That's just a cloud," Stephen replied. Paxton felt rather silly. He sped away as fast as his wheels could carry him. Paxton realized he didn't know much about steam engines' puff, because he's a diesel engine. But he knew someone who did know about steam engines, Victor, who repaired them. At the steamworks, Paxton asked Victor if he had any spare puff for Thomas, which made Toby laugh. "Puff just means steam," Toby told Paxton. "When Thomas bumped into me, his firebox got wet, and steamies can't make puff when their fire goes out." Yet again, Paxton felt silly. But he cheered up when he realized that Thomas would be fine when his firebox dried out. As Paxton sped back to the water tower, he heard a peep, and Thomas puffed around the corner. "You're okay," Paxton said. "Yes, I found my puff," Thomas joked. "At least I learned something today," Paxton smiled. "That puff means steam?" asked Thomas. "Yes, but I also learned that when the Fat Controller tells me not to be silly, I shouldn't be silly," smiled Paxton, and Thomas agreed. The end.